Hi, in this video, I will show you how to migrate your school data from one year to the next using a nifty feature called the Advancement Wizard. Go over here to School, go to where it says Setup, scroll down to Advancement Wizard, and click. Now this Advancement Wizard will enable us to migrate data from Term A, which we're going to sit over here, and to Term B, which we're going to sit over here. So we have a bunch of options how we can call up the data. We can either choose the down menu and scroll, or we can choose the search menu and find the term that we want specifically. If we have not yet set up a term, we could go to term setup and set up a term over here by scrolling to the bottom and inputting the name, the start date, the end date. Tuition occasions I'm going to cover in a different video. Then you would hit OK. In my case, I'm going to hit cancel. I'm going to find, I'm going to use, for example, this example, I'm going to use boys 2013 to 2014. And then I want to migrate the data from that year, from that term to boys 2014, 2015. Now, if you notice over here, once I populate the areas here, the information gets put over here where you see boys 2013 to 14, two-term boys 2014 to 2015. Over here on the top, we have registration, marking periods, courses, enrollment schedule, meals, and bus routes. I'm going to be pulling the data from the from term to the to term on all of these things. Now, you can either do them all in one shot, or you can do them piece by piece. It is completely up to you. I'm going to hit next. And now we get to the registration. This is where we're going to update. We're going to choose which update option for each grade and class. So over here, we're going to select which grade class to advance to, or the student status to be updated. And then we're also going to select which registration status will be included. We have over here grade A, class type, registration, update type, student, grade B, and class B. Grade A is where they were from the from term. And this is in the class A is where they were located in the from term as well. Here we have the class type, which is default. The registration, we have the option to choose all those that were registered, or for example, if we get the drop down menu here, we can choose that application sent or applied, rejected, withdrew. We're not going to touch that over here in this case because we're assuming that we're taking all the students that were already enrolled in last year and we're going to be migrating to the new year over here. Grade B would be where this pre-K is going to end up in grade B, which in class B as well. So for example, first grade is going to end up at second grade, etc., etc. Now, we could also choose to make an exception. Let's say this was grade 8 and they were not moving on to grade 9 because our school doesn't have a grade 9. Instead of advanced, I would choose a status update, which would then showcase over here as alumni. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it here, in this case, advanced. And then I'm going to hit advanced classes. Okay, very important that you hit this here because if you move on, you will not have made your changes. I'm going to hit advanced classes. It tells me over here that 0 classes were advanced because I already had done so, but in your case, it will tell you all the classes were advanced. Hit OK. Now, technically, I could stop here or I can continue moving forward. As you see, it's grayed out, which means that I already did this window. We're going to continue, hit next, and now we're setting up the marking periods. Generally, the marking periods are similar to the previous years. If there are changes, we can always make a change by clicking over here, make a marking period setup, and setting up a marking period. I'm going to hit cancel in this case. I have 3 terms from the previous years. Now, it's only showing me options for the new term, right? Because I want to move the marking periods to the new term. And where am I going to bring it from? Over here, I'm going to choose from the drop-down menu. But since I don't have in my system anything from 2013 to 2014, it's not showing up in the system. So over here, I would find, if you notice, there's nothing here. So I would instead have to go and type in term 1, and then I would choose from the drop-down menu. I can choose here from all my different things. So I'm looking for something from 2013 to 2014, which is right over here. And I can have a start date and end date, which I'm not going to put in here. I'm going to hit OK. And now when I look for the drop down menu, I'll have term 1 and I can do that, etc. Then I'm going to hit match, and that's going to match. It's telling me it can't match because there's an error in the data, but that's irrelevant. In your case, it should match without any issue. Of course, if you do have any issues, feel free to reach out to our customer service team. Once I'm completed, I will hit next. And now I am going on to courses. I'm going to select the courses to create for the coming term. So let's say, for example, there are many different classes or courses that were had from one year, and I want to move them to another year. They're basically going to be the same, then I would do that. If they're not going to be the same, if they're going to be different classes, then I will not import this data. We're basically telling the advancement wizard which data from last year do I want to move to the current year. And if there's certain data that I do not want to move, I will not select it. I could also check whether sessions should be created as well, and start and end dates will not be filled because clearly this is for a new year, and that information will be it's not best served when we add it in from the previous year. We want to use that information and put it in properly. So creating, I can choose over here, and I can select everything, which means that I want for all these grades to have these things next year as well, which is usually the standard in elementary school. In a high school, things might be different, and I could potentially uncheck the things that I don't want. But in this case, I'm going to select everything as well. And now I can also create the sessions, which are the time frames. So let's say English took place at 9 o'clock in the morning. If I hit create sessions, that will also create English at 9 o'clock in the morning for the future year. But if I don't want that, I can always keep that unchecked. So in my case, I'm going to keep it checked, and then I'm going to hit create courses. And of course, it's telling me 0 courses were created because I already did this. In your case, it will tell you the amount of courses created. Hit OK and hit next. Now we're on to enrollment. Now we can choose to enroll all students in the new courses. We can select which registrants should be auto-enrolled and which courses should be included. So over here on our drop-down menu, we have the options to allow all accepted students or applications sent or applied, rejected, withdrew. I'm going to choose the standard, which is the accepted, and then I'm going to choose all of these things as well, which means that all students that have been classified in my school as accepted will be added to these schools. I'm going to hit enroll students, and it should enroll them all. But of course, because this is a test data, it's telling me 0. In your case, it will enroll them. Then I'm going to hit next. Schedules, there's no schedules in my test database, but if there would be for yours, it would be very similar. The default term schedule will be advanced for all days selected. Selected days should be advanced. You can choose if they're Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, etc. And you could also select all the data there. It's pretty straightforward and explanatory. And then you'll be able to hit where it says over here, advanced schedule. In my case, obviously, there's nothing there because there's nothing in this tab. Every school will have things differently set up, but this is just a general overview. Hit next, and let's go to meals. Select which meal eligibility based on the previous term eligibility status. So for example, let's say last year a person's status was that they were able to get full meals, or they were only able to get certain things subsidized. Do we want that data to be migrated to the new year or not? And that's what we're going to tell the advancement wizard to do. We're also going to select which registrant should be included and the meals to include. So we go to registration status. I'm going to hit accepted, and I'm also going to select both lunch and breakfast, and I'm going to hit enter eligibility, which again will update the system. Then I'm going to hit next, and I'm going to go to bus routes. I can copy bus routes from the previous term, and I could select which bus route should be included. Let's assume everything is the same. I would hit select all, but if let's say it wasn't the same, I could unselect it. You can hit create routes, and sure enough, everything will be updated. And with that, we've completed the entire wizard. I hope this video helped you, and I hope you'll be able to have an easy time migrating your data from one year to the next. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to our support team. Thank you for choosing Admire.